Here's your KNDY weatherology forecast for northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska. Storms likely today, otherwise sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 83, clear skies. Tonight, lows level off around 60. Highs around 87. Tomorrow, sunny skies. Mainly clear Wednesday with highs around 89. 93, slight chance for storms Thursday. I'm staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Right now, 70.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. I'm Andy Hoosier. Well, some may be celebrating their Independence Day celebrations just a bit early as many headed out to the lakes and reservoirs across the state of Kansas over the weekend. However, with a bit of a different story, many lakes were closed down across the state due to too high of water levels after some of the recent rainfall. As KSNT News reports that over the weekend, the Army Corps of Engineers ended up reporting their newly recreational operational status website that showed several different campsites around the state of Kansas not accessible due to the high water levels. According to the report, they say that many different reservoirs across the state are either at or above their normal water levels for this time after the multiple different rainstorms that we've seen across the state. In other news, the Kansas State Fair has announced that they will be bringing back their Fairfield Golden Ticket giveaway, offering one winner in the state of Kansas, along with 3 guests, a full package of tickets, rides, and perks for this year's Kansas State Fair festivities. Kansas Mid-America Network News.
The Great Outdoors Giveaway is back at Seven Clans First Council Resort and Casino. Now through June, earn entries on your Seven Clans Players Club card to win a UTV, boat, and camper on select Saturdays. Own the outdoors by winning big indoors. The summer months mean more fun for the entire family at our indoor water park. Make a reservation now before they fill up. From gigantic giveaways to concerts and millions of dollars in monthly jackpots. It's all right here at Seven Clans First Council Resort and Casino. Highway 177 in Newkirk, Oklahoma, where the winners play.
Hi, this is Leanne Womack. I fell in love with country music as a child listening to my dad spin records at a radio station. I always dreamed of hearing my own songs on the radio. I set a goal and achieved it. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Never let anyone tell you it's impossible. So if you have the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Fireworks across the state of Kansas are officially hitting these shelves as individuals are purchasing and even firing different fireworks off across the state. And local officials are reminding individuals about safety procedures and being aware of your surroundings. And with many emergency communications departments now open for calls of report of nuisances, parties, excessive noise, and firing fireworks beyond the time frame late at night.
Tents like these are honorable people and they're selling what they need to sell. I'll try to keep the lookout for what I think are homemade fireworks, because there are some people that will try to sell those.
Local communities around the state of Kansas have their ordinances to allow individuals to fire off fireworks all throughout this week and into the weekend to celebrate the Independence Day celebration. And Kansas does prohibit the possession or use of certain types of fireworks, including bottle rockets and other homemade explosive devices. If you are unsure about the ordinances in your local community or some of the safety concerns, you can call your local officials in your community. Kansas Mid-America Network News, I'm Andy Hoosier.
When you need reliable expert automotive service, call on Danes Automotive in Marysville and Waterville. From routine maintenance to major repairs, the ASC certified technicians at Danes get the job done right the first time. Able to calibrate newer vehicle ADAS systems from blind spot monitoring to automatic braking. Trust over 85 years of experience at Danes Automotive in Marysville and Waterville. Look them up online or give them a call and stay on the road wherever it takes you.
Nebraska Mid-America Network News. I'm Andy Hoosier. Well, the recovery efforts continue on after the heavy rains that the state of Nebraska had received over the past few weeks, including in the Grand Island, Nebraska area, with many residents of Grand Island waking up to historic flooding over the past week, and that cleanup efforts continuing on with some individuals not experiencing rain like that before.
It's my first apartment complex I've lived in, and, so there's a lot of questions. I do IT from home, and so first thing was, is my company computer fine? Is my personal stuff? Big electronics person. And thankfully, I keep a lot of it off the ground, so I saved myself there. That audio from KSNB at Local Channel 4, where many individuals in the Grand Island, Nebraska area say that they are continuously doing their recovery efforts and assessing damage of the water, with many individuals searching for answers as local officials are requesting disaster relief from the federal government. Mid-America Network News.
We all need someone in our corner, especially when searching for a job. Kansas Works has a network of friendly, knowledgeable professionals who've helped thousands like you build a quality career. Who better to help with writing a resume, finding training, or other personalized services than a fellow Kansan who is closely connected to employers in your area? Kansas Works is in your corner, and it doesn't cost a thing. Just visit kansasworks.com to find a workforce center near you. And that's how Kansas works.
Sponsored by the Kansas Department of Commerce and aired in cooperation with this station.
Reporting local news, I'm Bruce Deerking. Public Works Administrator meeting last week with Marshall County Commissioners discussed 2026 budget planning for engineering services, anticipating applying for a cost-share grant to replace the... Due to scheduling conflicts, Marshall County Commissioners will not hold a meeting July 7th. Friendly Corners Senior Meal Site in Washington is closing. As reported earlier, replacing staff that has or is leaving soon was a challenge. City of Washington owns the building, which was leased for the program, and county-owned equipment will be liquidated. The Washington County and Hanover Hospital, along with Lynn Community Nursing Home, offer senior meal services, and residents interested should contact them for more information. Nemaha County Commissioners reviewed adjusted rates at the county landfill, $85 per ton for county residents, $95 out of county, with construction and demolition rates $50 for residents, $60 per ton out of county. With the retirement of Nemaha County appraiser Betty Rader last week, Kerry Cook was appointed interim appraiser at the salary set for the position previously. Betty Rader had served as Nemaha County appraiser since 2001. The county clerk advised she plans to continue operating with current staff this year and would like consideration for adding a full-time position in 2026. A lengthy discussion took place on the property valuation process versus property taxes at the last Gage County Board of Supervisors meeting, noting this discussion would not address individual property questions. Supervisors wanted to go over how taxation versus valuation works. An 8-page summary of the conversation is in the last meeting minutes for the Gage County Board of Supervisors. Kansas Department of Transportation will begin resurfacing work on K-99 in Marshall County this week. Mill and Overlay project spans 15 miles from the state line south to US 36 junction. Traffic will be restricted to one lane directed by a pilot car and flaggers while crews are working. Drivers could plan for delays up to 15 minutes. A 10-foot width restriction will also be in effect. Work will take place mostly Monday through Fridays, with some Saturdays. Hall Brothers of Marysville as contractor on the $3.3 million project, expected to be complete by the end of August. Stacy Whiting with Twin Valley Developmental Services was our public affairs guest this past weekend and shared services offered developmentally challenged individuals in Northeast Kansas.
Well, we do offer day and residential services, and I mentioned that a little bit. I did forget to mention that Beatty has residentials also, from very independent to the 24/7 support, and Marysville has an apartment complex, and then we also have 4 duplexes or 2 duplexes in Marysville. So depending on the individual that we serve and you know what they're looking for, we can meet their needs. Another thing that I'd like to give the public or let the public in on is that we do offer on-site, job site supported employment. And we probably have around 20 to 25 individuals out in the public working. We have a job site at Valley Vet that works in their warehouse. We have one at Randolph, and they do some cleaning, not some cleaning, a lot of cleaning in buildings 10, 20, and 30, and we're very grateful for that. We also have Washington County Recycling, where we have a job crew there, and we're there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we also have people employed at our thrift stores, Beatty, Waterville, and then also the recycling center.
If you missed the conversation, it's available as a podcast at our website, KNDYradio.com, and our social media. Twin Valley recently updated a new website, which includes ways in which the public can interact and financially support efforts of Twin Valley Developmental Services.
We do offer, our website is interactive and it is a secured website. You can go on and donate monetary donation through our website, but we've also received property. We've received vehicles in the past. So if you're interested in a material donation, you can get a hold of me or Mike.
Norman H. Norm Danielson, age 93, of Randolph, passed away Wednesday. Funeral service is planned Thursday, 10 a.m. at St. Mark's Lutheran Church, Waterville. Burial in the Riverside Cemetery. Visitation Wednesday, noon until 8. Family will greet friends Wednesday from 6 until 8 at the Christy Anders Funeral Home in Waterville, in charge of arrangements for Norm Danielson. Pam A. Schleifer, age 66, of Frankfort, passed away June 26th. Funeral and burial services will be private, with the Patton Funeral Chapel of Frankfort in charge of arrangements for Pam Schleifer. On the Marshall County Senior Citizens lunch menu today, a Polish dog, mashed potatoes, sauerkraut, Normandy blend, and applesauce. Tomorrow, barbecue chicken, baby bakers, broccoli, and blushing pears. KNDY News Time, 7:15.
At United Bank and Trust, we get it. Bank hours don't always fit into your schedule. With the United Bank and Trust mobile banking app, you can bank anytime, anywhere. At home, at work, or anywhere in between. You can perform convenient and secure transactions like mobile check deposit, transfer money between accounts, or see your balance instantly. Find it by searching for United Bank and Trust mobile app in your app store. Mobile banking with United Bank and Trust. It's banking for your way of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's your KNDY weatherology forecast for northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska. Showers and thunderstorms are likely today. Some storms producing heavy rain, mostly cloudy with our highs in the mid to upper 80s. Mostly clear skies overnight tonight with our lows in the lower 60s. Staying sunny throughout Tuesday with our highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s. Then mostly clear skies throughout Tuesday night with our lows in the mid to upper 60s. Sunshine on Wednesday with our highs in the lower 90s, and mostly clear throughout Wednesday night with our lows in the lower 70s. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms possible into Thursday, otherwise sunny with our highs in the mid-90s. Then showers may continue throughout Thursday night, otherwise mostly clear with our lows in the lower 70s. There will be a slight chance for some rain showers as we head into Friday, otherwise sunny with our highs in the mid-90s. Then showers and thunderstorms possible throughout Friday night, otherwise partly cloudy with our lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Showers and thunderstorms are possible into Saturday, otherwise partly sunny with our highs in the lower 90s. Then showers and thunderstorms continue throughout Saturday night with our lows in the upper 60s and lower 70s. And some rain Sunday with our highs in the upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Kara Foster.
Average high temperature late June 89, record high in this state 109. The average low 68 and the record low 46. Sunset this evening at 9, sunrise in the morning at 6:02. Widespread beneficial rains moved across the region west-east and began early this morning. Leading edge of the activity includes a few thunderstorms moving now toward St. Joe. The lighter activity following behind extends all the way west out towards Smith Center, and the activity really starts south of Lincoln, extends south of Wichita. So a broad band of Kansas, Nebraska, getting some beneficial rains this morning. Cloudy overcast, light rain, 70 degrees. That's a check of the morning news and weather for this Monday, the 30th of June. KNDY News Time 7:18. I'm Bruce Dierking reporting.
When it comes to taking care of your vehicle, trust the team that treats you like family. Spellmeyer Automotive in Marysville. We're family-owned and operated, proudly serving our community with honest, reliable auto care. From routine oil changes to major repairs, we're the local shop you can count on. At Spellmeyer Automotive, we believe in quality work, fair prices, and treating every customer like a neighbor. Because you are. Family-driven, trust local, and drive confident. With Spellmeyer Automotive in Marysville, your hometown pros, keeping you moving.
The jersey has a whole new meaning. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. LeBron James has said in the past his number 23 was a way for him to honor Michael Jordan. Now, 23 is going to represent the number of seasons he has under his belt in the NBA. LeBron is opting in for the upcoming season, exercising his $52 million player option. That said, his camp telling ESPN yesterday, quote, "We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage of his life and career. ESPN's Brian Windhorst.
I'm not real sure about the strategy that is being employed here. I guess I will wait and watch and see what the next move is, because I frankly don't think there's much of a next move for LeBron other than show up for training camp in the fall, because I don't think the Lakers are interested in trading him.
LeBron opting in. He will not be a free agent. DeAndre Ayton will be. He's finalizing a buyout in Portland. James Harden declining his $36 million player option. He intends to re-sign with the Clippers on a 2-year, $81 million deal. Rockets forward Jabari Smith intending to sign a 5-year, $122 million rookie contract extension. Baseball, Tigers a 3-0 shutout of the Twins on Sunday Night Baseball. Tarek Skubal ties a career high with 13 strikeouts over his 7 innings. Rockies were the last team without a win in extra innings, but they get one yesterday, 4-3 over the Brewers in 11. Nationals outlast the Angels 7-4 in 11. James Wood receiving 4 intentional walks. Mariners 6-4 over the Rangers in 12. Dodgers top the Royals 5-1. LA and Detroit tied for the most wins with 53 on the season. Astros get their 50th. They shut out the Cubs 2-0. Cardinals sweep the Guardians 7-0. Reds walk off with a win on Sunday. Pirates crush the Mets 12-1. O'Neal Cruz a pair of home runs. White Sox 5-2 over the Giants. Orioles top the Rays 5-1.
This weekend is what summer's all about, and Macy's July 4th sale starts tomorrow with deals on everything you need to celebrate. Hosting? Turn your backyard into a party destination with 40 to 50% off outdoor entertaining. Beachbound? Turn heads in this season's hottest swimsuits, sundresses, and more. Getaway with the kids? Superpower their summer with 25 to 60% off toys from Nerf. Plus, don't miss Macy's 4th of July fireworks live on NBC and Peacock. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure, dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stock futures were higher overnight as investors continue their run into record territory. The S&P and NASDAQ each gained 0.5% Friday to end the week at new all-time highs. The Dow Jones added 432 points to close at 43,819. 2 days after President Trump pulled the plug on trade talks with Canada, those talks may be back on. Trump suspended discussions over a planned Canadian tax on American digital services. It was supposed to take effect today, but Canada's Prime Minister says that tax is being suspended. Talks have resumed. The president, meanwhile, tells Fox News he has a group of what he calls very wealthy people ready to buy TikTok. For over 2 years, the U.S. has been demanding that the platform's Chinese parents sell TikTok. Headed into the busy summer travel season, the nation's big airlines have a new headache. A network of young cyber criminals called Scattered Spider, intent on hacking into the airline's computer systems. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
There's no better place to work, play, and relax than the great outdoors. Spend your day connected with Blue Valley Technologies outdoor Wi-Fi. Join online meetings on the patio, stream your favorite playlist by the grill, or watch a movie under the stars. Enjoy an uninterrupted connection this summer without ever having to step indoors with Blue Valley Technologies outdoor Wi-Fi. To learn more, visit bluevalley.net/outdoor.
Ag News from the Mid-America Ag Network. I'm James Guerin. The Kansas wheat harvest is moving along, with farmers working around scattered rain and challenging field conditions. While the pace has been a bit slower in some areas, many producers are seeing steady yields and decent test weights. Despite weather delays and pressure from disease, there's a sense of optimism as harvest continues across the state. Romulo Lolato, a Kansas State wheat production specialist, with the harvest update, he explains how wet weather has impacted harvest progress, wheat yield, and wheat quality.
Well, wheat harvest this season has been slower than average, let's put it this way, right? And there's a few reasons for that. And how slow are we this year? Well, if you think of an early USDA report that came out just this week, they reported that wheat harvest progress in Kansas was about 20% this year. And if we compare this to last year, during this same report, in the same time of the year, we were 49%. That So this is like a very considerable slow in the pace of the wheat harvest. Now, of course, last year we harvested it fairly quick, right, because of the conditions were good for harvest. But really, if we think of historically, we're supposed to be 30 to 40% harvested by this time of the year, and we're still halfway. Right, and so we are definitely much slower than where we should have been. And there's really a couple of reasons for that slowness. One of them is simply we started later than usual, right? I mean, it's not uncommon for us to see the first few wheat fields in Kansas be harvested in that late few days of May and early first days of June, especially in that Barber County region, central southwest Kansas transition. However, this year, the first few reports that we were hearing about were about June 9 or so. So we were probably at least about 10 days or so behind where we usually are, simply in getting started.
From Kansas State University, this is Agriculture Today. I'm Shelby Varner. How do cowburps and lasers go together? Physicist and project leader at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, Brian Washburn, explains how he and his team are working together to use lasers to better understand what is in a cowburp and how it changes with their nutrition.
Without disturbing the animals, you want to get some information about the production of meat or the impact environment that the raising of cattle does. Okay. And so we can basically cattle they exhale, so they produce carbon dioxide. There's water in the air. And then also cattle, they digest food differently than humans do. And they have a process called enteric fermentation, where they have a forced stomach and they produce methane as they chew their cud or wherever the animals you want to say they do. So they belch this methane up. And the question is, and methane does impact the environment. So the question is, how much methane do they produce?
Washburn discusses how the lasers identify and detect the gases.
The gas absorbs specific colors of a laser, and we know those colors from doing lab measurements. And so if we send a laser out that actually can get absorbed a little bit by this gas, that tells us the gas is there. If it doesn't get absorbed, then the gas isn't there. And so we can do, and this is called spectroscopy, so we can do high-resolution spectroscopy with lasers. Well, we use these very special lasers, which we actually make, and we can use this to measure methane and carbon dioxide and water vapor associated with any kind of agricultural practice. So say you have an area where all the animals are. You set up a beam on one side, a beam on the other, and then any gas that's produced in that area. So we can cover large areas. And so we're not looking at emissions from a single animal. We're looking at emissions from a whole area, and that's the strength of the technique.
He says what one of the reasons is for doing this research.
For feed productions, there's consumers want to purchase meat, but want to reduce the impact of the production of meat on the environment. And so then there might be simple ways or additives or things you can do to the diet of the animals to reduce methane production. So, for example, there might be a common thing is to feed animals seaweed or some other kind of additive.
That was physicist and project leader at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, Brian Washburn, with why he is working to understand what gases are in cowburps with lasers. I'm Shelby Varner, and this has been Agriculture Today over the K-State Radio Network.
And hey, a great morning to all, and let her rain, and I guess we'll get the hay put up when we can. And certainly the grass is going to grow. Well, today we're going to start at 10:30 here this morning. Certainly a nice smaller sale, of course, in the summer month, but got a nice run of cows and bulls at 10:30, and then at 12:30 we'll get into a fairly nice run of calves. Certainly the quality is there, and let's tell you about it here today. We do have one black family. We're going to mouth her here this morning to get an age on her. Certainly looks like an 8-year-old cow with a great bull calf, 12 days old, black bull calf, and it's only one family, but certainly a nice family if you need one to fill in. The Drogi cattle out of Dubois, we've got 4 black steer and heifers. They're going to be that 200 to 300 pounds. 30-day wean and a vac on them, guys. In addition to that, there's another group of 4. There's numerous 2s and 3s singles, probably about 12 head of those lightweight cattle. Also, the Schmitz cattle out of Beatty, 6 Shar bull and heifers coming off the cow. They're going to be in the 300 to 450 pounds. That Strawberry Shar, nice cross cattle. Very good cattle out of Schmitz at Beatty. Pester at Unadilla's got 5 black heifers. They're going to be those nice 600 to 650 pounds, kind of the right kind if you were looking for a replacement. Also, the Myers out of Roca has got 25 Jersey Angus half-blood steers. They are certainly all weaned and vaccinated right off the farm, home raised, kind of very good cattle, certainly when you think of the cross that we have to offer here today. David Reuter out of Humboldt, 40 head of black red steers and heifers coming out of Humboldt. They're going to be that February wean, April vaccinated, 500 to 750 pounds. B&B Farms, Brian Brower out of Claytonia, 70 black and red steers, 90-plus day background and vaccination. Certainly a great program. 6 1/4, 650. Kapke Farms, the Kapke family's always got great black cattle. They're going to be 30 head of black steer and heifers. April wean, May vac. Those calves are 550 to 650. The Fritches out of Tecumseh have 30 black steer and heifers, 45-day wean, fall vaccination. They're going to be that 6 1/4, 700. And the Fritz guys out of Wilbur do a nice job, 29 head of black and red steer and heifers. They've got a January wean, April vac. They're going to be that 6 to 700. So nice run here for the summer sales schedule. Certainly 10:30 start, 12:30 on the calves here at Beatrice 77 Livestock. In the markets, we do see a little bit of a lesser push on the cattle markets. Certainly, we've had a 2-week period since we last reported, and it has fallen about $6 to $8 there on the finished cattle. $230 was the top market in the cash this week. In the carcass, $368 to $373.50, and that is a little bit lower also, but certainly just kind of a slower pace there in the finished product the last 2 weeks, and those prices are lower, but certainly they are recognizable to make everything work. And the feeder cattle auction certainly is on the green light side. Very good markets as they are buying for replacements. And so the markets are still certainly above normal, and pretty good markets for the current term. Well, the cattle schedule in regards to sales, July 14th will be the next sale for us. I want to talk about the 24 fall-bred cows that we have coming in. They are about half of them are going to be that 5 to 8 years old. The other balance are going to be balanced. Big, strong cows are bred to LHT bulls, and with a September calving date. So write that down if you need fall calves. That will be July 14th here at Beatrice 77 Livestock.
7:33 from KNDY. Pitter-patter of raindrops, rumble of thunder this morning. I think widespread, everybody ought to get a shot out of this. Looks like it may continue the next hour or so, extending west out to north central Kansas, south central Nebraska. Heavier activities push to our east now. 69 degrees, highs middle 80s today.
Looking for new refreshment ideas for summer entertaining? How about brewing up some rhubarb punch? We share that recipe today from the Old Farmer's Almanac.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating for the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-603-5815. 800-603-5815. 800-603-5815. That's 800-603-5815.
With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Monday, June 30th, the 181st day of the year. Swimming champ Michael Phelps has a birthday, and the first Chevy Corvette rolled off the assembly line on this day in 1953. Need to add some variety to your summer beverage repertoire? Here's a great recipe for rhubarb punch. Place a pound of rhubarb, washed, trimmed, and cut into chunks, into a saucepan with a cup of water and a cinnamon stick. Cook for 10 minutes, strain and discard the rhubarb. Stir a cup of sugar into the remaining juice and chill. Now mix the syrup into a quart of water along with a cup of pineapple juice and a half cup of lemon juice and serve. You can adjust the pucker power by adding more sugar. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find this recipe and more summer beverage ideas at almanac.com.
Kansas Mid-American Network Sports. I'm Andy Hoosier. Well, even though the state of Missouri passed their legislation to try and keep the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Royals on their side of the line, it sounds like the debate may not be over after Kansas Senate President Ty Masterson officially called for a meeting with the Kansas Legislative Coordinating Council, where he says they will be discussing an extension of the STAR bonds that are set to expire next month. In a statement from the Senate President for Kansas, he said, quote, "I have scheduled a meeting of the LCC for July 7th to discuss the matter. Although the law enacted also for an extension for a year, it is my belief that the LCC is likely to prefer to have this matter resolved by the end of 2025. It comes after a letter was sent from the Chiefs team president, Mark Donovan, that said, quote, "We believe the foundation is in place for something truly historic, not only for our team, but for the future of the state's economy and national profile. The possibilities for job creation, tourism, long-term tax revenue, and regional pride are unparalleled."
Marysville American Legion Post 163 Senior Legion baseball team ran their record to 16-2, chasing Donovan County in a doubleheader 2-1 and 3-2. Atchison forfeited a doubleheader. They did not have enough players for the game Saturday. Legion Post is idle until a week from Wednesday, returning home July 9th with games at 6 and 8 p.m. hosting Hiawatha.
KNDY.